Okay, welcome back to another In Focus video where today we're going to be taking a look at the RFN ARES Rally Pro electric dirt bikes. Now the ARES Rally Pro is an all-new electric dirt bike that comes to us from Apollo Motors. So today we're going to go over all of the specs and show you guys some of the really cool, unique features of this electric dirt bike. So straight away, we'll dive into some of the specs of the bike. So first things first, the range of the bike is up to 60 kilometers, which is factory tested at a cruising speed of 40 kilometers an hour. And when it comes to the top speed, the RFN is capable of getting up to 75 kilometers per hour. Now for the battery in this bike, it's a 74 volt, 35 amp hour LG battery, which is fully removable and can be charged both inside the bike as well as outside of the bike. Now the RFN has a few different riding modes that you can select depending on what sort of purpose or riding environment you're in. Now the first of this ride modes is tortoise mode. So this is your super energy saving modes. Next, you've got rabbit mode. This is what you would use for active trail riding or also racing. This one will deliver up to 1 to 2 hours of runtime. Now the third ride mode we have is rocket mode. This is an ultimate 10-second burst of power which gives you access to the full 11 kilowatts of motor output. Now when you're using rocket mode, it's important to note that as long as the overheat protection hasn't kicked in, you can continue to hit that button over and over again. Now for the brakes on the RFN, this is a 4-piston hydraulic brake system with 210mm rotors. Now it's important to note that unlike similar electric dirt bikes on the market, this bike does not use a mineral oil system for its hydraulic brakes. In fact, it's a .4 system. And what that means is it's much better performance for a bike of this caliber. Simply put, you're getting a motorcycle class braking system on the RFN, unlike a downhill mountain bike braking system that you'll find on similar electric dirt bikes. Now when it comes to charging the battery in your RFN, it only takes 2 to 3 hours, and that's because the charger has a 10 amp fast charging function. Now we'll go over some of the specs of the motor in this bike. The particular type of motor in the RFN is an air-cooled permanent magnet synchronous motor and is also direct drive to the chain. Now for the power output, this motor has a 5 kilowatt output, but it's got a peak power of 11 kilowatts. Now when it comes to the torque that the RFN puts out, you're looking at 58 Newton meters at the motor and 270 at the rear wheel. And all of that put together means that this bike can accelerate from 0 to 50 kilometers per hour in only 3.2 seconds. Now let's move on to the suspension. So both the front and rear suspension on the RFN are fully adjustable. Up the front we have an upside down fork with 200mm of travel, and in the rear we have a monoshock with 74mm of travel. Let's move on to the wheels. In the rear we've got an 18-inch wheel, in the front we've got a 19. These are both a Series 7 aluminium wheel, and when you get your bike out of the box you'll find it pre-fitted with these super chunky off-road tread tyres. Now the last spec we're going to talk about is the weight. So the overall weight of the entire bike is 68 kilos. The battery on its own, which I mentioned is removable, weighs 15 kilos, and then the maximum rider weight that the bike will handle is 120 kilos. And as you can see here, the RFN ARES Rally Pro comes in 2 awesome looking colors. So we've got our fully stealth blacked out version here, as well as a bit more of a traditional motocross looking white and red. Now I'll quickly show you how we go about removing the seat to convert the bike into trials mode, and while we've got that off, I'll also show you how we go in and connect and disconnect the battery and remove it completely. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to remove the seat and convert the bike into trials mode. While we're in there, I'm also going to show you how to go in and remove the battery as well as then reconnect it and reinstall it. Alright, so first things first, we're just going to go in under this part of the seat at the back. There's a wing nut that you just need to unscrew. Once you've got that out, just put that in your pocket so you don't lose it. Bit of a suction cup there. And then in the front of the seat, you've got these 2 pins, which we just pull those 2 out from here. And just like that, your seat is off. Underneath here you've got sort of what looks like a bit of a bungee cord that allows you to use underneath the seat for a bit of storage if you'd like to do that. So as you can see, with that seat removed, the bike is now in trials mode. All right, now the next step I'm going to do is show you how to get in and remove the battery. Now the first step to get the battery out is under the front on the right-hand side of the bike. We have this latch. Pull and release that, and that will release this latch here, which is holding the battery cover. Let's go ahead and pull that up, and we can put that to the side. Now down the back here, you'll see we've got our two connections. So you've got the power connection as well as the battery data connection. With the data connector, just unscrew that section and that will just pull away. And with that one, you've got a green clip, slide that to the back, and then you should be able to disconnect the power connectors. Then to remove the battery, we are pulling it away at the top because you'll see we're kind of hinged down the bottom here. And then I can remove the battery and charge it outside of the bike. To put the battery back in, one thing you want to pay attention to is this little hinge spot here. This is going to need to sit on that sort of rail which is down here. Pull the latch up and then we just sort of drop that in, and you can even give it a bit of a push like that. Just make sure that it does click into place. Again, we will connect the power connector. Push your little green tab forward like that. Get your data connection, plug it in and screw it forward. Then going to get the battery cover that we removed earlier. Just make sure you put that end down in first and then just put that into place. Then finally, to secure everything with this latch that was at the front of the bike, I'm just going to grab that and maneuver it back into place like that. And then you can see this latch is now firmly holding the battery in place. Then the last step is to put the seat back on, is just the reverse of what you did to remove it. Line these two front pieces up and slide the two pins in. And then we just lower the back down and reinsert the wing nut underneath. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our In Focus video all about the RFN ARES Rally Pro electric dirt bike. If you'd like to find out more, we'll leave a link down in the description, or if you've got something you'd like to ask us, you can leave that in the comments below. But other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next video.